I told you 1,000 times I hate it here. I'm not going back, so stop asking me. I can't stand either of you right now.
Your child loses control over something tiny: wrong cup, wrong color, wrong moment, and before you can even breathe, the meltdown begins. And here's the part no one warns you about. It is not the cup. It is your child's nervous system asking for help in the only way it knows how. Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Carter, child psychologist and behavioral development specialist with 20 years of experience, helping parents understand the science behind gentle parenting and the deeper patterns that shape child behavior. And today, we're exploring one of the most effective emotional regulation systems in the world, the Japanese rulebook for raising calm, resilient, deeply grounded children. Parents often ask me, why does my child explode over something so small? And the answer is simple. Young brains cannot yet separate emotion from perception. What feels small to you feels overwhelming to them. In Japan, however, parents respond to these moments in a way that stabilizes the child's nervous system instead of escalating it. In the next few minutes, I'll break down why these Japanese principles work, how they shape emotional strength, and how you can bring these methods into your home starting today. Why small triggers feel so big to a child. When parents describe a meltdown over a cup, a shoe, or the way a sandwich was cut, they often feel confused or even frustrated. But from a developmental psychology standpoint, these reactions are predictable. The emotional center of a young child's brain, the amygdala, activates far more quickly than the logical center. According to research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child, children under the age of 7 rely heavily on co-regulation, meaning they need another person's calm nervous system to help stabilize their own. This is why gentle parenting isn't simply about being soft. It is about understanding how the brain learns. Every tantrum is not a test of obedience, but a window into developing child behavior and emotional wiring. Why it happens, the neuroscience behind the overwhelm. When something unexpected happens, a broken toy, a denied request, the child's brain interprets it as threat, not inconvenience. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning, is still under construction until the mid-20s. So, instead of thinking, this isn't a big deal, the child experiences a surge of cortisol that feels impossible to manage alone. In many Western homes, the immediate reaction is correction. Stop crying. You're overreacting. It's not a big deal. But neuroscience consistently shows that logical explanations land only after emotional safety is established. Without that safety, the brain simply cannot hear you. Real examples. How tiny moments trigger big emotional waves. A toddler denied another snack might fall to the floor screaming. A preschooler whose tower collapses might throw the pieces across the room. A 5-year-old told, "It's bedtime," may suddenly burst into tears. These reactions are not misbehavior, they are communication. And Japanese parenting traditions recognize this. Instead of seeing tantrums as defiance, they view them as opportunities to teach social harmony, emotional endurance, and self-regulation through presence, not pressure. This shift from correcting emotion to guiding it is the foundation of the Japanese approach we're about to explore. In Japan, one of the foundational parenting principles is shitsuke, often translated as discipline, but not in the Western sense of punishment or correction. Instead, shitsuke means training through consistent modeling. Children learn emotional behavior not from what parents say, but from the emotional climate parents create. The Japanese concept, oya no senaka, which literally means the parent's back, reflects the belief that children learn by watching how adults carry themselves, how they walk through frustration, how they speak when annoyed, how they breathe through stress. This principle aligns deeply with modern neuroscience. According to the National Association for the Education of Young Children, NIE-SE, children form emotional patterns by mirroring the adults they feel safest with. This is why gentle parenting emphasizes co-regulation over control. A child's brain studies the parent's face, voice, and breathing rhythm to decide whether a moment is safe or threatening. Japanese parents rarely rush to correct emotion. Instead, they demonstrate calm. When a child cries because their drawing ripped, a Japanese mother might sit beside them quietly, offering tissue or gentle touch, but not immediate solutions. This approach teaches endurance, patience, and emotional fluency. In American homes, parents often respond quickly, "It's fine, I'll fix it," or "Stop crying, it's not a big deal." But this inadvertently prevents the child from developing internal resilience. From a child behavior standpoint, shitsuke trains a foundational skill called emotional referencing. The child checks the parent's emotional state to decide how intense their own reaction should be. When parents model steadiness, the child's nervous system takes cues from that stability. Over time, This reduces reactivity and increases emotional confidence. A powerful example: a Japanese preschooler spills water during lunch. Instead of panic or scolding, teachers calmly hand the child a cloth and say, "Let's clean it together." No shame, no urgency, no emotional spike. The child learns, mistakes are normal. I am capable. I am not in trouble for being human. This is the heart of Shitsuke, guiding behavior while protecting dignity. Another hallmark of Japanese parenting is the strong emphasis on early autonomy. Even young children are expected to attempt tasks that American parents often reserve for later developmental stages. Walking to school with peers, packing their own belongings, helping with household routines, and resolving small conflicts independently. This autonomy is not pressure, it is trust. It signals to the child, "You are competent. You can try. I believe in you." From a developmental psychology standpoint, autonomy is one of the strongest predictors of emotional regulation. Research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child shows that children who are encouraged to attempt difficult tasks early develop stronger neural pathways related to planning, frustration tolerance, and emotional control. Here is where Japanese parenting diverges from typical Western patterns. Many American or Canadian parents interpret helping as love. They intervene quickly, solve problems instantly, and prevent struggle. While well-intentioned, this unintentionally communicates, "You cannot handle this. You need me to fix it." In contrast, Japanese parents allow space for effort, even imperfect effort. When a toddler is putting on shoes, they wait. When a child gets frustrated tying their uniform ribbon, they encourage persistence rather than stepping in. This aligns beautifully with gentle parenting, which focuses on scaffolding skills rather than rescuing children from discomfort. A real scenario: a child becomes upset because their block tower keeps falling. In many homes, a parent might say, "Here, let me show you," and rebuild the tower. But a Japanese parent might sit beside the child silently, acknowledging their frustration. "That's difficult, isn't it?" and letting the child continue experimenting. This strengthens problem-solving skills and normalizes struggle as part of learning. This approach produces a markedly different child behavior pattern. Instead of meltdown at the first sign of difficulty, the child becomes more patient. Instead of giving up quickly, they stay engaged. Instead of relying entirely on adults, they build internal stamina. Autonomy also reduces tantrums because tantrums often arise from feeling powerless. When children are given genuine opportunities to make decisions, participate in routines, and handle age-appropriate challenges, their emotional world feels more predictable and empowered. This combination, modeled calm plus early autonomy, is why Japanese children often appear remarkably regulated in group settings. Their emotional toolkit is not accidental. It is intentionally cultivated from the earliest years. One of the most overlooked Japanese parenting practices is the rhythm rule, the belief that young children thrive when environments move slowly, predictably, and with intention. In Japan, adults rarely rush children through transitions. Whether it's getting dressed for preschool, preparing to leave the house, or finishing a meal, the cultural expectation is unhurried presence. This pacing is not accidental, it's strategic. Children's nervous systems process information more slowly than adults. When transitions happen too fast, cortisol spikes and emotional dysregulation increases. Studies from the University of Tokyo show that children exhibit fewer behavioral spikes when the pace of routines remains steady and predictable. This aligns beautifully with gentle parenting principles, which emphasize connection over compliance and understanding over urgency. In many Western households, however, mornings are a sprint. Parents call out commands, children fall behind, pressure mounts. For a child with developing executive function, this rapid pace creates a sense of overwhelm. When the brain cannot keep up, child behavior often looks like defiance, refusal to put on shoes, crying, shutting down. The Japanese solution is simple, but transformative. Slow the rhythm so the child can stay regulated. Instead of, "Hurry up," Japanese parents narrate each step with patience. Instead of dragging a child out the door, they invite participation. When time runs short, adults adjust, leaving earlier, planning better, not forcing the child into a pace their brain cannot match. A real example: a Japanese preschool class transitioning to outdoor play. Teachers begin 5 minutes earlier than necessary. They move gracefully, speak softly, and encourage students to complete small tasks independently. Because the rhythm stays calm, the children remain calm. The environment regulates the behavior. This rule is especially powerful for toddlers whose emotional systems are fragile. When adults slow down, children feel safe. When adults rush, children feel pressure. And pressure almost always leads to emotional overflow. The second advanced Japanese parenting principle is the order rule, a system built on clear routines, predictable patterns, and consistent expectations. In Japan, even young children learn that life follows a sequence: mealtime steps, cleanup rituals, school transitions, and bedtime routines are stable day after day. This structure provides what psychologists call emotional scaffolding, a framework that supports a child's ability to stay regulated. Why does order matter so much? Because uncertainty is one of the biggest triggers for dysregulated child behavior. When a child doesn't know what happens next, their brain shifts into alert mode. Japanese parenting minimizes this uncertainty by making the world feel stable and understandable. This principle aligns with research from Harvard's Center on the Developing Child, which shows that predictable environments strengthen neural pathways linked to self-regulation. Children feel calmer because their bodies don't have to anticipate sudden changes. They already know the rhythm of the day. Order in Japanese homes is not rigid authoritarianism. It is gentle structure. For example, before meals, children wipe tables and set chopsticks. After playtime, toys are returned to designated baskets. Before bath, dirty clothes go in a specific spot. These routines communicate. This is how we do things together. This environment makes sense. You are part of a system. From a gentle parenting perspective, this is incredibly powerful. The routines remove the need for constant verbal reminders, reducing parent-child conflict. Instead of scolding a child for leaving toys out, the environment itself teaches the rule through repetition. A practical scenario: a child has a meltdown when asked to clean up. In many homes, cleanup feels like punishment, something imposed abruptly. In a Japanese classroom, cleanup is a shared ritual accompanied by music or soft voices. It is never rushed. Because cleanup is expected, it is not a surprise, and thus, not a trigger for dysregulation. Predictability becomes emotional protection. Order becomes confidence. Structure becomes security. And when children feel secure, they behave differently, less reactive, more cooperative, and more emotionally aware. One of the most distinctive features of Japanese parenting is what I call the empathy shadow rule, the practice of matching a child's emotional state without escalating it, standing beside the emotion instead of confronting it. In Japanese culture, adults rarely challenge a child's feelings with logic during moments of distress. Instead, they practice omoiyari, which loosely translates to deep consideration for another person's emotional world. From a psychological perspective, this is a cornerstone of gentle parenting. Emotional alignment activates the social engagement system in a child's brain, lowering defenses and restoring regulation. When a child feels understood, cortisol decreases naturally. When a child feels dismissed, cortisol spikes and child behavior quickly shifts into fight, flight, or freeze. Japanese caregivers often respond to distress with soft presence and subtle mirroring. If a child says, "It's too hard," the adult might respond quietly, "It feels hard today." If a child cries over a torn paper, the adult acknowledges, "That was important to you." No lecture, no rush, just emotional companionship. This is not indulgence. It is strategic neuroscience. According to NAEYC's research on co-regulation, children learn emotional naming and emotional recovery by experiencing adults who stay with their feelings long enough for the nervous system to settle. The empathy shadow rule teaches emotional literacy by modeling empathy instead of teaching it verbally. A real example: a 4-year-old drops their food and bursts into tears. In many Western homes, parents might immediately say, "It's just food, no big deal." But in Japanese environments, adults kneel beside the child, share a moment of quiet recognition, and then clean up together. The rhythm of empathy, stability, action becomes internalized. This emotional shadowing helps children build resilience. They begin to trust that emotions are survivable, connections are stable, and communication is safe. As a result, child behavior becomes less explosive and more relational. The child learns, "I do not need to fight to be understood." Japan places significant emphasis on wa, the cultural value of harmony within a group. From a very young age, children are taught that their actions influence the people around them. While the goal is not obedience or compliance, it is a deep understanding of interdependence. Children learn that emotions exist within a social space, not outside of it. In psychology, this is called external emotional referencing. Children regulate themselves by observing the emotional tone of the group. In Japanese preschools, this is intentionally cultivated. Teachers rarely raise their voices or single out a child. Instead, they use gentle gestures, eye contact, and shared routines to keep the group regulated. This quiet stability creates an emotional field where children naturally tune in and adjust their behavior. It resembles gentle parenting at the community level. Rather than punishing emotional outbursts, the environment teaches children how to manage them. A typical scene. During circle time, a child becomes restless. Instead of reprimand, the teacher lightly touches the child's back or redirects their gaze toward the group. The message is subtle but powerful. We're here together. Let's stay connected. This fosters a type of self-control that emerges not from fear, but from belonging. Research from the Japanese Ministry of Education shows that children in community-based classrooms demonstrate higher levels of patience, cooperation, and emotional endurance because their regulation is socially reinforced. This rule has profound implications for child behavior in Western homes. Many American parents struggle because emotional regulation is expected to be taught individually, through explanations or corrections. But Japanese children learn self-regulation by watching how their actions ripple through the group and how the group responds with steadiness. When a child sees classmates clean up quietly, they mimic. When they observe others waiting patiently, they learn patience. When peers stay calm during transitions, they absorb that calm. This is also why tantrums in Japanese preschools tend to de-escalate more quickly. A dysregulated child is surrounded by regulated peers, not chaos. Emotional harmony acts as a safety net. In Western homes, replicating this looks like keeping your tone consistent, maintaining steady routines, modeling patience rather than demanding it, narrating social impact. Your loud voice is surprising your baby brother. Reinforcing belonging. We clean together. We calm together. When children feel they are part of a cooperative emotional system, they regulate faster and more willingly. When we look beyond toddlerhood and early childhood, the long-term impact of Japanese parenting becomes even clearer. What begins as calm modeling, autonomy training, rhythm stability, and social harmony eventually forms a psychological blueprint that follows children into adolescence and adulthood. Neuroscience shows that repeated co-regulation experiences strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for planning, impulse control, and emotional balance. This is why children raised with consistent emotional structure demonstrate fewer behavioral spikes and more self-directed regulation over time. In Japan, emotional independence is cultivated gradually, not abruptly. By allowing young children to confront manageable struggle, tying shoes, walking to school, solving small conflicts, the adult communicates trust. That trust becomes internal confidence. Over the years, these patterns accumulate into what researchers call resilient emotional memory. The child remembers that struggles are both normal and survivable. Within a gentle parenting framework, this matters deeply. Gentle parenting is not permissiveness, it is skill building. Japanese families teach children that emotional waves are expected, not punished, and that regulating those waves is a shared process. Over time, the shared becomes self. This is how children transition from relying on co-regulation to developing internal regulation. In terms of child behavior, this results in fewer explosive reactions, faster recovery after distress, greater tolerance for frustration, stronger problem-solving skills, and healthier social interactions. And because Japanese children grow up participating in community-based routines, they learn something profoundly valuable. Emotional regulation is not just an internal skill. It is a relational skill. How you feel affects the group. How you act influences others. This awareness fosters empathy, patience, and cooperation, qualities that protect mental health through adolescence. Here's the twist, and it's crucial. Many Western parents try to adopt Japanese parenting principles but accidentally apply them in ways that increase frustration rather than reduce it. The issue isn't the method. It's the cultural assumptions behind the method. The biggest misunderstanding is this: Japanese parenting is not silent endurance. It is responsive presence. When American parents hear Japanese parents don't intervene, they sometimes interpret it as ignore the emotion. But Japanese caregivers are not ignoring, they are observing closely. They stay physically near, they model calm. They step in only when necessary, allowing the child to attempt the next step independently. This balance of presence plus trust is what makes the method effective. Another misunderstanding is around autonomy. Allowing a child to walk to school or manage tasks independently does not mean lowering safety standards. In Japan, independence is carefully scaffolded. Adults prepare children long before expecting them to act alone. They teach step by step, often practicing scenarios repeatedly. Western parents who skip the scaffolding create anxiety rather than confidence. Finally, many parents attempt to apply Japanese structure without embodying Japanese calm. Routines alone don't regulate a child. What regulates the child is the parent's emotional energy within those routines. A tightly structured home with emotionally dysregulated adults will not produce emotionally regulated children. This is why gentle parenting aligns so well with Japanese principles. Both rely on the adult's internal stability as the foundation for healthy child behavior. Here's the truth that most parents miss. You don't need to become Japanese to apply Japanese parenting. You don't need the culture, you need the principles. And the principle is simple. Children learn emotional self-control by living inside emotional safety. When parents slow down, narrate routines, allow effort, and model calm, the child's brain adapts. They become not only more cooperative, but more confident because regulation isn't forced onto them, it is grown within them. As we look at the Japanese parenting framework as a whole, its calm modeling, slow rhythm, structured routines, emotional shadowing, and deep respect for autonomy, we begin to see why these principles create such remarkable long-term outcomes. They do not eliminate frustration or prevent big feelings. Instead, they teach children how to move through emotion safely and confidently. And that is the heart of gentle parenting. Not controlling behavior, but shaping the nervous system behind the behavior. When children grow up inside emotional predictability, they learn that their feelings are not dangerous and that connection stays steady, even when they struggle. Over time, tantrums decrease, cooperation increases, and child behavior becomes more reflective, less reactive, and much more resilient. So here's the question I want to leave you with. If we brought even a small part of these Japanese principles into our homes, what kind of emotional world would our children grow into, and what kind of adults would they become? Let me know in the comments. Which Japanese rule feels the most possible for your family to try this week? If you found this helpful, subscribe for more evidence-based guidance on parenting, emotional development, and the science behind raising confident, compassionate children.